So let's talk. Hey guys, it's CC Lesson 3. Welcome back to my channel. So before we get started in this video, I just want to say that everything I'm about to mention to you guys, I am not generalizing whole countries of people. I am not trying to say all people are a certain way. I'm just telling you what I know from my experience. That being said, this video is going to be about some of the differences I've noticed when it comes to dating in Korea versus dating in the US. Now this list is probably going to be a little all over the place. I'm just thinking of stuff that kind of comes to my mind and then I'll just blurt it out. So I think the first thing that I think about is in Korea, I think guys are far less likely to approach you or to talk with you or flirt with you, except in the club, because clubbing guys just want to take anything home. When you're out on the street or you're casually in a cafe or walking around a park or something, I don't know, even if the guy seems interested in you, it's not very likely that they'll make the first move, especially because you're a foreigner and there's the language barriers. Whereas in the States, if a guy likes what he sees, he's not very hesitant to say something about it. I think one of the stark contrasts I've noticed swiping on these dating apps in Korea versus swiping on them in the States. I use OkCupid for the most part. With OkCupid, you can swipe and send a message before there's a match. So like you can see so-and-so sent you a message. I wasn't even actively using my account. I just checked up on it after I don't know, 2 weeks since I came back home. And every time I swipe, it's somebody sending me a message. But in Korea, even if there is a match, you're not very likely to actually hear from them, especially not first. If I would get a message on dating apps in Korea, it would just be, hi, where are you from? How are you? So good to see you. Weird English phrases like that. So good to see you. Even when you get that match and it says, oh, you're a match, then you're like, all right, now he's gonna message me. No, he's not. For the most part, when I get a match with somebody, I'll say, hi, nice to meet you, or hi, what's up? And then nothing happens. In the States, I always get a reply back. I think guys here are just a lot more they just kind of go for it a bit more. Oh, and that's another thing. I'm sure it's the language barrier being an issue, but guys in the States actually read my profile and they mention stuff about it, like, oh, you like anime? But no, I prefer subs over dubs because I like dubs over subs. Not gonna get into that here. Whereas in Korea, they see you, even if you say no hookup, no friends with benefits, no one night stands, first thing they'll say is FWB. Boy, if you don't get, it's just bruh, did you even make an attempt to look at, we know you know what those letters are because you just sent it to me. You couldn't have seen that in my profile. I said no before that. Or even on my profiles, I'll say in Korean that I don't speak Korean well, and they get those messages all in Korean. So that just shows you people don't really read your profiles in Korea like they do in the States. I think another thing I've noticed, guys in Korea tend to be a bit more handsy and possessive. Not in a dangerous kind of way. I just mean even if you're crossing the street and the man says you can go, he's green now, they'll kind of drag you to walk with you, even though it's I can walk on my own, I see that we can cross now. Or if there's a car coming, they'll put their arm around you and slightly move you out of the way even though you weren't in the way to begin with. And they tend to baby you in the way where they pat you on your head, or aigo 귀엽다, and poke you in the cheeks and try to pinch your cheeks and stuff like that. In the States, that's not really a thing. You don't really baby your other unless they are a baby. In Korea especially, girls are definitely more babied and treated like we need to be protected and guarded at all times. I told you guys about this story time, my birthday 2 years ago. This guy, we met up in Seoul, and it was just little things he would pull on my backpack to try and be cute, and I'm just what are you doing? Or just kind of poke me, and there's just little handsy stuff, and kind of, even when you're just standing there looking at your phone, they'll put their arm around your waist or on your shoulder or something, just to touch you and be near you, I guess. I don't know. I think another thing that I've noticed dating in Korea versus dating in the States. In the States these days, it's definitely becoming more acceptable to go Dutch. Or if the guy asks you, that's one thing, then they pay. Or if you ask, then maybe you'll pay. But in Korea, they get offended if you want to pay for yourself. What? They insist on it. They'll be oh, I'll get this one, you get the next one. Something like that. But for me personally, especially if it's our first meeting, I absolutely prefer going Dutch. I pay for me, you pay for you. Just because I don't like when guys try to be like, so I bought you that steak though. Like, it just makes me more comfortable, especially just in case I'm not actually enjoying your company. I don't want you to buy me a meal after that. It just makes me feel better and not guilty. I'll just pay for myself. In the States, for the most part, if I express that to a guy, they're like, oh, all right, bet. But in Korea, they're like, no, I insist, I'm fine, I got it, I'll pay. I'm the man, I'm supposed to pay. And it's like, it's 2019, bruh. In America, makeup styles are more like sexy with cat eyes and full big pouty lips and all this dark heavy eyeshadow and lashes to the gods. But in Korea, they prefer more like subtle looks in their girls. Like big eyes, not emphasized by like a lot of makeup. They don't even really do like bold lashes like that or mascara a lot. Like, you know, there's a few little wispy lashes, but like glitter everywhere on your eyeshadow, under on your cheeks, a pouty red lip, things like that. Like in the States, we know guys like sexy. In Korea, they like cute face and maybe a more sexy body, I suppose. And one thing many girls would be very relieved to hear, catcalling is not a thing in Korea. Like, that just does not happen. And honestly, that's what made me want to do this video, because I was just minding my business walking down the street and I forgot. It's refreshing to forget that you have to deal with that, because for 2 years in Korea, I have not had to deal with that. But like, you know, guys be like, hey yo ma, how you doing, what's good? Or they honking their horn at you and winking and all that. Like, leave me alone. Just minding my business. And you know, I hear this music blasting from a car. Dude slows down to like get a better look at me. And you know, he's like looking at me like, hey, how you doing? How you doing? And I looked at him and then looked away and walked faster. And he's like, you don't gotta be like that. What's up? What's up? And I'm just sprinting at this point. Catcalling is thankfully something you will not have to deal with in Korea. Like, I've never heard of any friends deal with that. I've never had to deal with that. It might be a thing, I'm just not familiar if it is. I feel like when like a guy in America finds you physically attractive, they kind of stare at you like you're a piece of meat. Like, they look you up and down like, okay. Like, makes you feel very violated. In Korea, if a guy is like, you know, if he's interested in you, he kind of looks more like fascinated. I don't know, it's hard to describe. I haven't really gotten many compliments by Korean guys as strangers. It has happened a few times. Like, I do remember me and my friend went to Manado, which is the southernmost point in South Korea. It's like a little tiny island south of Jeju. And we were getting on the ferry, and me and my friend, and there was another guy and his friend, they were both Korean. They were like, hello, and we're like, hi. And he's like, you're so beautiful. And I was like, oh, thank you. And like the way he looked at me, it was just like wow, like he was really taking in my face and not looking at everything, which was kind of nice. I didn't feel so like dehumanized, and I didn't feel like a slab of steak or meat or something. It's nice to be complimented when they look you in the eye like, you're very beautiful. Like, that's how you feel it, you know? Like, don't be looking me up and down like, yo, you beautiful. Like, okay, thank you. And here's another thing that I guess kind of ties back into the possessiveness. Like I said, it's not necessarily in a bad way, but like when you're starting to date and everything, they'll text you often and you better reply. Like, you know how in America, if you're, you know, starting to get to know someone, you try to make yourself seem busy or casually not interested. Like, they'll be like, hi, and then maybe 2 hours later you'll go, hey, what's up? In Korea, if you do that, they will think you're not interested. So if you don't reply like right away, they're like, next. Yeah, so they'll message you, good morning, did you sleep well? Did you eat well? Did you have breakfast? Are you home from work safe? Things like that all throughout the day. Because you can't really make time to see each other in person because Korean people are so busy. So they'll rely a lot on just SMS and kakao, things like that. And if you don't reply in a timely manner, they move on. I remember the first time I was asked, have I eaten? Oh, 밥 먹었어? 밥 먹었어요? I thought that meant they wanted to like meet up for food. Because in America, like, if a guy, hey, have you eat yet? That means they want to meet up for lunch or dinner or something. In Korea, they just want to make sure you ate food. Like, it doesn't mean that they have time to actually meet up. They just want to, did you eat well? Did you eat? 밥 먹었어요? They just want to make sure you actually ate something. Another thing, Koreans, when you're in a relationship, they don't count weeks or months or years. Well, maybe the years, but if it gets to that point, years. But they count days. Like, you celebrate your 100-day month anniversary date. You can't even call it anniversary because it's not a full year. So, and there's so many coupley holidays. So like, there are all these apps to help you remember. Like, in America, for the most part, we have like Valentine's Day. You have your own personal anniversaries. There aren't too many days for couples. In Korea, I remember Valentine's Day. I remember White Day. I remember Pepero Day, which isn't necessarily for couples. But if you do have a significant other, you're supposed to get them Pepero sticks. I remember Kiss Day, Rose Day, Movie Day, Green Day.
I walk this empty street on the boulevard.
There are so many days unofficially that couples have to keep in mind. Also, I think in the States it's more generally accepted to date, to just have fun and kind of find out what you like, what you don't like. And if you're lucky, you find the right one along the way. But in Korea, they want to get married. Everything is about finding the perfect other. Like, you need to be the right height, you need to have the right job, come from the right family, have the right looks. If you don't actually have it, you gotta go buy them. Even after like 3 months of dating or 2 months of dating or 60 days, they already exchange couple rings, they're already wearing couple outfits. In America, you wear couple stuff, people are like, okay, y'all are different. You see couples out looking at like wedding dresses and hanboks together, and everything is all about the future and finding a mate, because you can't be 30 and unmarried because that's like looked down upon. And it's like, what? Like, my 20s are for me. I'm not trying to get married or have kids until maybe 29 or 30. I don't know how Korean people do it. That pressure to look for someone is just, that's not fair. Like, any Korean person you ask, I doubt that they will disagree that they feel pressured by their parents and by Korean elders to get married young. Elderly people will find you at like 28 and be like, why aren't you married yet? You know, you should find someone good for you. You should settle down. You should be raising a family. And it's like, what? I'm 28? No, not yet. But that's how they are in Korea. So I do feel bad for them there. I think another major difference between Korean guys and American guys, I know that Korean girls like to do the whole aegyo, cutesy, oppaya thing, but guys do it too. I don't like aegyo personally. I feel like if you're a child, it's fine, but when you're not a child, move on, grow up. I love the way men are in Korea. Like, I like that they can, you know, take care of their skin, take care of their hair, take care of their clothes and how they dress, and not be considered gay like they are in America, which is so ridiculous. Guys in Korea are definitely a lot more comfortable with their masculinity than they are in America. Toxic masculinity, all that BS of dudes needing to prove that they're a man and be rugged and manly is so unattractive to me. I do notice, like, you'll see guys holding hands with each other, not worried about how their guy friends will think of them or anyone will think of them. Like, they're just like, we're just friends and we're holding hands, like it's no big deal. In America, if two guys hold hands, then people want to look and sneer and tell them they're not a man, which is BS. Okay, so I think the last thing I'll say for this part is PDA in America versus PDA in Korea. In America, you know, you can kiss, you can show that you love this person fully, and people might be like, oh God, but nobody really cares that much. In Korea, you need to keep that ish to a minimum. The most you can do is hold hands, poke, pinch cheeks or whatever. People don't even really hug like that in Korea, so imagine how they'd feel if they saw you kissing in public. Like, I see guys, you know, they'll stroke their girl's hair or hold their hands or hold their face. You don't get too close to each other where people are like, oh my gosh. So, yeah. Okay, so that was just a loose outline of some of the differences I've noticed between dating in America versus dating in Korea. Just some of the things that kind of popped in my head. Hope this was helpful for you. Thanks for watching. If you did, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. It's free, so just do it. I'll see you next time. Annyeong. I love you 3000.